Folks, happy Friday and welcome to Acoustic Guitar Showcase number 85. We are thrilled that you are joining us on your Friday afternoon, and we are thrilled about the guitars that we have to share with you folks this week. And we are starting off on an awfully strong foot here. But before we dive too deep into this guitar, folks, I want you to say hello to my good friend Hondro, joining us behind the controls and quite literally running the show today.
What's up, guitar geeks? Good to be back. We got a jam-packed one for you today. I'm excited.
We do indeed. A number of really fun guitars. And the first one, I hate to burst everyone's bubble right off the bat here, but you will not find this guitar for sale on our website or frankly on any other website at this point. This is a bit of a show and tell that we are really excited about. You folks, if you've joined our acoustic guitar showcase here for a while, you might be familiar with the name Matthew Gervais. He is a relatively new builder, very enthusiastic guitar builder, and this is among his first guitars, not the first guitar he's built, but among the first handful of guitars that Matthew has put out into the world. And he was kind enough, and his client were kind enough to send this guitar our way so we could check it out for ourselves and as well share it with you folks, which we are absolutely eager to do. And we've got just a whole bunch of really fun stuff to dig into on this guitar. First off, this is a Grand Auditorium body style. So think a little bit larger than like your Grand Concert or even OM body style. This is a 14 fret neck joint guitar. So quite versatile, whether being played finger style. Does have quite a bit of excellent headroom when you dig in and get the guitar to sing a bit louder. Really has a great voice there. The top that Matthew started with here is a beautiful dark forest ancient Cypress top. We have been seeing a bit more of this dark forest cypress, whether that be the sinker axe cut variant or the actual ancient pieces like this one here. This is a very old top indeed, and carbon dated to prove that, in fact, which is really cool. You can see that the body of the guitar has been bound in a torrified flamed maple binding, and that's a really nice touch. I almost thought it was koa at first due to its golden kind of a glow, but that torrified maple is certainly a nice touch in the binding theme of this guitar. I love that beautiful pink abalone rosette going around that sound hole as well, and a rather nice, almost ghostly clear pickguard on the face of the guitar as well, keeping that precious ancient cypress top free of blemishes. Let's take a close-up of this top if we could there. Thanks, Hondro. Really a luxurious top, though. Just amazing depth of grain in this. I should mention the body finish on this guitar is done in a French polish. So it's kind of an open pore, very breathable, very resonant finish on this guitar, which is really nice, completely done by hand. The border that you see purfling the top of the guitar going all the way around the top there is done in red abalone, really a beautiful touch there as well, right inside that golden maple binding. Back and sides of this guitar are an absolutely insane set of highly figured Ziricote, and I love that. Those big patches of sapwood on the back of this guitar, really a lot of drama in the appearance of this back set. Get up close on some of those spider-webbed areas there, really luxurious looking. I've got to say, just the feel, the tactile feel of that French polish finish is really, really nice on this guitar. Really an inviting just texture, if you will, to that finish on the guitar. Very, very nice. I want to call your attention to some of the kind of customized details on this guitar. You'll see that F and S inlay right there on the heel cap, that Ziricote heel cap on the back of the guitar there. That stands for father and son. This is kind of a commemorative guitar for the owner's father and himself relationship. If we look closely on the fingerboard of this guitar, I'm going to step away from the microphones here. I want to show you this inlay on the face of the fingerboard, which is really, really cool, but we need to get up close to fully appreciate it. You can see a Ziricote fingerboard, but just sort of a silhouette, a blacked out silhouette of the father and son sitting there on the bench in the sunset playing guitar there. Really cool fingerboard inlay. And of course, beautifully matching the theme of this guitar as well. Keeping music in the family for sure. Very, very cool inlay design. And if we look all the way up top, we will see a matching, very powerful Ziricote veneer. We've got the Lay Guitars Mammouth logo all the way up top there, done in ebony, just totally blacked out on there. Really, really cool. We've got the black chrome Godo 510 tuning machines on this guitar. Love that nice, powerful volute that they've carved, that Matthew's carved in the back of that neck as well. And the neck itself is done in a torified curly tiger maple. And I'm telling you, this is very, very three-dimensionally figured all the way around this neck. A beautiful piece of stock for the neck on this guitar. Really cool. The binding around the fingerboard and around the headstock are done in a Zebrano binding all the way around. So really, again, beautiful wood grain just all the way around this guitar. Again, that super landscapey looking Ziricote fingerboard with a matching Ziricote bridge down here. Just, you know, very, very well coordinated. Handra, I'm going to ask you to switch that one more time. I failed to show the tail wedge, which we will not fail to do. We've got a combination of curly torified maple. If you look in the next frame in, that is some matching ancient cypress, kind of framing in that pink abalone block right in the center there. Just a really fabulous tail wedge, all mitered in there and everything. Great colors along with that Ziricote. But man, what a creation. Obviously, very much so a one-off, highly customized guitar for Jeremy, his client. And as I said, I am just honored, frankly, that they sent us this guitar for us to not only check out, but again, share with you folks. Man, a terrifyingly deep sound and just awesome sustain. If Matthew is voicing like this early in his career, I think there's a promising future ahead of him as a guitar maker. So. boy, that rings. As I said, folks, we were so eager to share this guitar. I was eager just to get the guitar in here to play it myself selfishly. But I'm so glad that we're able to share this beautiful guitar. Really, I mean, anything with ancient Cypress is going to look awesome. But man, they really just did a great job of everything around that. Really beautiful.
I agree. Yeah, we were super excited to open that one up when we saw it come through the door.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's fun too to have folks that you don't maybe know in real life, but online or whatever kind of thing. That's fun. That's fun stuff. Makes it kind of a small world.
True. And I did have a question for you from Chris. What do you think about distressed guitars like pre-war brand guitars?
Sure. I think that there are merits to aged guitars. Appropriately, we just picked up a somewhat aged guitar, you could call it. To me, it boils down to the individual's personal preference. Some people, when they're buying a nice new guitar or even a nice used guitar, want it to be, perfect or close to perfect or very, very well kept looking at least, which I totally appreciate. There are some folks, though, that either A, don't care about that or just want the opposite. They want something well worn looking. Perhaps the spirit is, I don't have to worry about putting the first ding in it myself sort of thing. I like it when it's well done. I think Atkin guitars, which we're going to take a close look at here in just a second, I think they are, in my opinion, leading the pack in aged acoustic guitars, as far as my opinion is concerned. But I think there are other companies out there, like pre-war, even like, Martin guitars, doing a nice job. Gibson, of course, is now offering the Murphy Labs aged stuff with different degrees of, distress that you can sort of get on those different models. So, the more options, the better for me, because that gets more people excited about playing guitar. So, like I said, we can take a real close look at what I think is a fantastic example of kind of current, new, but aged, vintage-inspired guitar here in this Atkin. Folks, this is the Atkin J43, and I've got to tell you, we've had a really great track record so far with the J43 from Atkin Guitars out of England. I will tell you, this is the first variation of its kind that we have had in our shop, being that it has, instead of a baked Sitka spruce top, which is the standard, this has the baked Adirondack spruce. And Handra, let's take a gander at this nicely sunbursted baked Adirondack top. This is considered an upgrade for sure in the Atkin menu to go from the baked Sitka, of course, up to that stiffer baked Adirondack. But this is a great variation, or just a great selection of Adirondack spruce. You can see that nice tight grain orientation. The fact that it has been baked, of course, kind of allows them to really exercise the stiffness to weight ratio aspect of the stiffer spruce, thin it out a bit more, really get this stuff to bark and sing in a nice kind of lightly built guitar here. Really nice. I love that burst finish. I love that tiger stripe pickguard as well. Just a great look. Back and sides of this guitar are a nice dark stained set of straight grain mahogany. And speaking of that aged finish, you can see as I roll that lighting over the back of this guitar there, it is checked from top to bottom all the way through. About every square inch of that has checking on it in one form or another, even on the sides, and yes, of course, on the top of the guitar as well. Body binding on this guitar is done in a plain ivoroid binding. Again, very traditional looking. All the way up on the headstock, we've got that Atkin logo all the way up top, done in the gold silk screen. We've got the 43 banner logo right there in the center of the headstock as well. We've got the 3 on a plate golden age tuning machines with the ivoroid buttons tying in nicely with the binding on the guitar. Mahogany neck, of course. This has a pretty round neck profile, no presence of a V or anything. It's not the world's skinniest or slimmest C profile neck. It's got a little bit of meat to it, but it's not like the end of a baseball bat either. It's kind of that nice in-between medium thickness. I don't think that this would offend too many folks out there. We upped the standard 1 11/16 nut width on this guitar up to our preferred 1 3/4. That also reflects a 2 1/4 spacing down here at the bridge when you increase that nut width down here a little bit. We've got Santos rosewood on the fingerboard as well as the bridge of this guitar, and Adirondack spruce braces under the hood that, again, very lively, very loud, and this guitar not only has great headroom, but just the projection of it is very efficient out of the face of this guitar. Very much so a classic and very reliable in the pocket guitar tone. But once again, I will say the Alistair Atkin and his small team there turning these guitars out are just doing an awesome job. Really strong sustain too for a slope shoulder, mahogany back and side guitar. That's a good ringer.
And I had a 2-part question from chat, one from Dave and then the second from Michael.
Sure.
On the aging. So Dave asked if the aging on the Atkin contributes to the sound, and Michael asks what is the impact on the longevity of the instrument?
Good questions, both. And yes, Dave, to answer your question, I do believe, and I will also reference some of the thoughts and input from some of the builders that actually do age their guitars, Alistair Atkin first and foremost being one of them. He is rather outspoken, in fact, about when you finish a guitar and you have that perfect, like the one we're looking at, we have this perfect mirror-like glass finish perfectly across that entire top. The finish itself, before you put strings on it, before you do anything else, just the finish itself creates a surface tension because of its flat, solid nature and consistent nature across that top. Now, when you crackle that finish, check that finish, whatever you want to call it, that surface tension breaks. And so that stress, if you will, in the top is no longer present. And I do believe, and if all of you, if any of you could play the guitar that we just played, the Atkin, I think that you would agree there is a broken in, almost borderline loose feel to that guitar. Not in the sense that it's sloppy or flabby or, it doesn't behave well. It just feels relaxed in a positive way, the way a lot of perfectly finished guitars don't. Now, I'm not saying that the finish on that guitar is the only reason for that effect. I think that there's other contributing factors in how the actual guitar was built before it was finished. But I do think that the finish is a big contributing factor in that relaxed, not only tone, Dave, but the relaxed feel of the guitar, which I think ultimately results in some tonal differences itself. So very good question. And the longevity. That's an even perhaps better question. One that we don't completely know yet. Again, we've been dealing with, aged Martin guitars, aged from the factory for a number of years. Obviously, the folks at Pre-War Guitars have been doing this for a number of years now. I haven't heard an awful lot of feedback, and I don't know if this is what you're getting at. I'm reading between the lines. I haven't heard a lot of feedback that these finishes are like disintegrating and falling off of the guitar and failing, if you will. But I will say, if you look at actual vintage guitars that have had a lot of that lacquer checking for a long time, usually that lacquer is still there. And again, not just falling off all over the place. So I would maybe use that as I know that we're kind of pre-aging these and doing it by different means than the test of time, but we'll find out. is the very long way to say that.
I kind of wanted to add on, I think if you took two identical guitars, if Atkin made that guitar with the full gloss top,
yep,
and then with the crazed checking aged kind of top, and you blindfolded me, I'm pretty sure I could tell the difference.
The difference in the sound?
In the sound.
I agree with you. I do agree with you.
Yeah. And then, two, I think almost the fact that it's already got the sort of aged look to it, longevity-wise, it's whatever was going to happen to it almost already did happen to
sure.
it. So
good point.
It's not going to get weirder than that,
That's a good point.
At least in my opinion, but I'm no finisher, so.
That's the fact right there. Neither of us spray finish on guitars, so this is lots of speculation. Good questions. We're getting deep today.
Yeah.
Folks, this was a guitar that was on display at Taylor's NAMM event early this year. And when we saw the specs of this guitar, there was absolutely no way that somebody else was going to get this guitar and we weren't. This has a lot of fingerprints from our good friend Aaron Lucas of Dark Forest Tonewoods. He is the gentleman responsible for our sinker axe cut and actual ancient Cypress that we've been seeing on soundboards the last couple of years in the high-end boutique luxury guitar community here. And the folks at Taylor, Bob Taylor to be exact, found out about this wood, and well, you can do the math from there. What we have here is a very highly customized Grand Concert 12 fret. If we could take a close up here, Hondro, we have got one of Aaron's, again, Dark Forest axe cut Cypress tops on this guitar. Just a beautiful specimen. And yes, Taylor applied a bit of their own kind of shaded edge burst treatment to this top as well, giving it a bit more depth. Otherwise, this guitar has some very, very classy details, even just aesthetically and tonally. You better believe it's doing all sorts of special things. Take a close-up at this rosette here. I want to show you. This is the Euro Deco rosette, and this is not the only Euro Deco detail on the guitar. We will get into a bit more here, but that's a good start to this this kind of aesthetic theme that I think is perfectly used on this guitar. We'll see the back and sides of this guitar are done in black Limba, a variant of Mahogany. And man, I'll tell you, when I started hearing the tone of this guitar, I really thought, man, this sounds so much, more vibrant and more reverby, more overtone presence than most of the quote unquote Mahogany that I'm familiar with. But this black Limba sure has some beautiful depth of tone and complexity to it. I like the finish that they've done on the back here, almost like a window pane staining around each half of that back, giving it a really beautiful depth all the way around there, and even some really nice figure in the sides, and that finish treatment as well on the sides of the guitar. All the way up on the headstock, you'll see that jet black veneer, also with the Euro Deco headstock inlay. Really, again, just classy. Reminds me of like an old, out front of an old radio studio or something. Really neat looking. We also have that matching theme going on to the face of the fingerboard of the guitar. Kind of gives me almost old like lap steel kind of vibes with those shapes that they've used there. But again, really, really tasteful, and all the colors that they've chosen for the woods and those inlays just really tie in with the rest of the aesthetic on the guitar. We also have the just matte black Taylor tuning machines on this guitar with some pretty custom, very, very neat ebony and cocobolo buttons on the guitar. And those cocobolo buttons, I should have mentioned, really beautifully tie in with the cocobolo binding on this guitar, which is, again, just a nice, rich addition to the aesthetics of this guitar. But again, the sustain and the just that depth of tone is something I would maybe more commonly associate with something in the rosewood family, and not as much in the mahogany family. But combination of this axe cut sinker Cypress and that black Limba. Crispness. Really nice. That is a fun Taylor right there. Something real different than what I'm used to.
Very crispy. I'm not sure if I've seen a Taylor with the Sinker Cypress top before come through the shop.
Well, as I said, that was one that we were not going to let slip away from us.
Rightfully so.
Indeed. Indeed. Truly a masterpiece, my goodness. Folks, we've reached the Bourgeois SJ, or small jumbo. This happens to be one of the brand new carved back variations, and I am so eager to show you this guitar. It is pure class all the way around. As you can see, this is Bourgeois small jumbo format here with the oval sound hole, which I'll tell you, what a perfect just placement of that oval sound hole in the perfect model, just aesthetically speaking, just a great proportion all the way through this guitar with that particular sound hole and that pick guard and everything. We've got one of Dana's beautiful sunburst finishes upon a age-tone Adirondack spruce top, and I mean this sunburst just looks like it was from the 1920s or something. Just beautiful old looking burst. The tiger stripe guard, perfect touch all the way through there. We've got some really nice, if you get up close, it's a nice detail, some end grain ivoroid on the purfling of the guitar, and grained ivoroid on the actual binding of the guitar. So some really nice, very traditional looking binding all the way through here. I want to show you the back of this guitar. It is just a thing of absolute beauty, just a carved, beautiful masterpiece. Just the lines, of course, that curly maple is not hurting anything at all. Let's be real. But beautiful burst, and again, just the curvature of the way that line, that light, kind of floats over those carved portions of the back is just very, very attractive. And I got to tell you, just again from a player's perspective, the feel of this carved back against you is just a very nice thing. It's the little things, but that's one of them for sure. Beautiful carved back on this Bourgeois, though. Even all the way down on the tail wedge here, we've got that beautiful grained ivoroid tail wedge. And again, we're talking real curly maple all the way around this guitar. All the way up on the headstock, we will see a jet black ebony veneer. The fingerboard and headstock of this guitar have been completely bound in, again, grained ivoroid to match the body of the guitar. We've got the mother of pearl Bourgeois logo all the way up top, and this is the chevron inlay pattern that they have done not only on the face of the headstock, not only on the face of the fingerboard, but even on the face of the bridge of this guitar. So a beautifully coordinated inlay package all the way down the face of this guitar. If we look at the back, once again, we'll see a equally curly maple neck on this guitar with that nice black stringer going all the way down the back, and the stinger on the back of the headstock, blacked out rear of the headstock, nickel Waverly tuning machines with matching grained ivoroid buttons on there. Just again, classy. We've got age, tone, everything on the rest of the guitar in terms of the bracing, the finish of the guitar, animal protein glue construction throughout this guitar, and the responsive nature of this is similar to an arch top. I mean, you hit it and it's like already out in the air almost kind of thing. It's very quick response, whether you're just barely tickling the thing or if you're chugging for it. It'll, I'm not a big band jazz player, but anybody who is looking for maybe something a little bit different than your traditional arch top that does some of that big band jazz stuff that really holds the rhythm down, boy, this would be a fun guitar. This flat top really projects well, and of course, it's quite a bit better sustained than most of the fully arched body guitars that we're, familiar with nowadays. I've got to say, I cannot wait to see what else Bourgeois comes up with this carved back design here. Man, what an awesome addition to their lineup of guitars. Talk about a perfect iteration of it. Boy, beautiful.
Forgive me if you already touched on it, but the neck shape on that, is that a V?
I didn't touch on it. This has it's basically the standard neck profile that Bourgeois puts on their flat top guitars. This has a 1 23/32 inch nut to start out with, but a very, very soft V profile on the back of this neck. If you've played virtually any other, Bourgeois within the last 5 or so years, this is going to be very familiar. I will say the majority of Bourgeois necks that come out of their shop do have a satin lacquer finish, where this is a fully buffed out, shiny finish on the back of this guitar. So that might be a little bit different than the really standard stuff. But neck profile itself is going to be, very, very reliably Bourgeois comfortable.
I'll admit the V-necks kind of scared me initially, but after seeing like the way that Bourgeois does them and some of the other brands that we carry, I almost don't even notice it when you pick it up. It just feels comfortable.
Exactly. If it's well done and you pick it up and you realize that you're not even thinking about the neck, that's when you know it's a good one.
That worked.
That's when you know. Folks, talk about recent arrivals. This one just arrived. We are talking earlier today, just arrived. And I was not going to let a week or two go by without showing this to you. So our timing was excellent. UPS's timing was excellent, whatever that is. Andrew, I'm gonna get carried right away here. So let's look at this thing. Folks, this is a very special instrument in that this is a 30th year commemorative anniversary for our good friends at Huss and Dalton Guitars. I'm going to try to get this in proper light to where you can see it without being blown out. This is their 30th anniversary OM guitar, and boy, have they spec'd these things to be absolute masterpiece guitars. Now, there are a total of 10 30th anniversary guitars that Huss and Dalton will be building. Of the 10, this happens to be number 3. So we've got lucky number 3 here, and I'll tell you, man, what a creation they have made. We've got a master grade bear claw Italian spruce top on this guitar, and you can just see the absolute depth of that bear claw figuring all throughout that top. Very, very three-dimensional. From top to bottom, just all there, absolutely all there. The top purfling on this guitar, as well as a number of the other details that we will be taking a look at, are done in an aged brass, and I love brass. I love just the patina it brings on. Of course, this has finish over it, so you'll not be getting a whole lot of patina on that, but I just love that look of natural brass. They have done that around the top border of this guitar. If we look up close on the rosette, you'll see a dogwood vine, and yes, that whole vine is done in aged copper, backed by rosewood in the actual wood portion of the rosette itself. It's some beautiful shell work on the dogwood flower coming right off of that rosette, really giving it just a beautiful three-dimensional look within that rosette. And I just love that kind of broken edge design as well, with that flower coming right off that rosette. Really cool. Back and sides of this guitar are a master grade set of old growth koa, and man, they know how to pick this. That's a beautiful, beautiful set. I love the color of it, especially that strip right down the center that is just almost pinkish in its color around all the golden, beautiful figuring otherwise. You'll see a total border once again in aged brass. including the mitered in back strip on the guitar. And if we look down a little further, you'll see that dogwood vine flowering out from the back strip itself, almost like the rosette on the front, in a really tasteful way. Really cool. And I just love how perfectly they've mitered all those details in, of course, as always. Koa heel cap here as well. Also down here on the tail wedge, we'll appreciate the Cocobolo tail wedge that ties in with all of that ultra rich, very three-dimensional Cocobolo binding all over the guitar. All the way up on the headstock. Yes, we've got more, folks. We've got an ebony veneer all the way up top. Again, fully bound in Cocobolo. We've got the aged brass dogwood vine inlay, once again, not only on the headstock, but also on the fingerboard. And man, talk about a fingerboard treatment. And I love how they've kind of tied in fret 3, fret 5, fret 7, fret 12 down here. Pretty cool how they've oriented the actual flowers on this vine to be inlay markers themselves as well. We also have the 30th anniversary inlay right down here at the very bottom of the fingerboard. There's actually a matching motif on actually just the hard shell case for this guitar itself. So the full package is branded with the 30th anniversary signage on it, which is really cool. Of course, quarter saw and Honduran mahogany neck. These are the high grade titanium Waverly tuning machines done in a gold finish. Perfect touch for such an exquisite guitar. Under the hood, we've got Adirondack spruce braces with all full hide glue construction. And man, I'll tell you, the vibrance of the Koa back and sides with this just filthily bare-clawed Italian spruce top is really something. Just a lot of shimmer in the sound. Presence of overtones in that sound. Wow. I like Koa.
What a balanced sound on that one.
And clear. I mean, there's just precision in those notes coming off that soundboard. I was going to say, I mean, this is the grossest oversimplification ever, but I was going to say this would sure be a really nice finger-style recording guitar, and it will do so much more than that, but holy cow, would it be great.
Yeah, I like every frequency bouncing off that thing. That sounds great.
Yep.
I did have a question from chat. Are the guitars on the wall today, are they all in E standard tuning, or do you have any in an open tuning?
None are in an open tuning. All are in E standard. I try to let you folks know if we're doing something outside of standard tuning, especially in our acoustic guitar showcases here.
Sure.
Good question. Good question. I leave it up to Hondro to tune all these guitars for me. He's kind of like my caddy, guitar caddy. The Tony Rice Pro to end all Tony Rice Pros? Maybe. Folks, we've got a celebrity of a guitar, I think is fair to say, in this incredible Santa Cruz Tony Rice professional model. Brenda, my good friend at Santa Cruz Guitar Company, was kind enough a couple of weeks ago to reach out and say, hey, I've got something out of the norm that you might be interested in. Let me tell you about it. And she proceeded to tell me about not only this guitar, which before I even knew all the details, I was really excited about it right off the bat. And the further she got, the more I realized, oh, this ain't any, everyday thing we're dealing with here. So what we've got here is, yes, a Tony Rice professional model. And Hondro, if we could go ahead and take a look at the details of what make this guitar up, I would love to do so. We've got one of Richard Hoover's master grade German spruce tops. This is a very, 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 very old selection of old growth German spruce top from the longtime stash of Mr. Richard Hoover. And this is what comes on the highest end examples of the Tony Rice professional models. Now, the professional model in general is an elevated Tony Rice model to begin with. This is even beyond a professional model, and we'll get into the details of why here. One of the reasons beyond the top that we just looked at is most certainly this unbelievable set of Brazilian rosewood. This is old growth, 1930s harvested, Tier 1 Brazilian rosewood, again, from the collection of Richard Hoover, an astounding set of old, amazing, seriously otherworldly Brazilian rosewood in this guitar. The sides are every bit as equal. I mean, we're just talking masterpiece grade rosewood in this guitar all the way around. Very, very traditional zigzag back strip going down the center of the back. Whole body is bound in grained ivoroid, of course, and it is a herringbone guitar. Of course, you got that herringbone trim all the way around the top. The Tony Rice guitars, of course, have the large sound hole, the Pro model having the largest sound hole, and you can see that fingerboard extension that quite literally sinks into the sound hole there that's bound and everything. All the way up on the headstock, you can see a Tier 1 Brazilian rosewood, just gorgeous figure to that headstock veneer. Amazing figure to that. Just a powerful headstock all the way around. We've got the gold Waverly tuning machines, again, everything bound in grained ivoroid. I love that powerful volute on the back of the headstock as well. This is the standard neck profile for the Tony Rice Pro model, including the 1 11/16 inch nut width and the 2 3/16 spacing down here at the bridge. And of course, everything inside the guitar, all old growth Adirondack spruce braces, fully scalloped, very intimately tuned by hand to get this thing singing the way it is singing. You better believe it. All hot hide glue construction throughout. We're talking the highest echelon of Brazilian rosewood dreads made by Santa Cruz Guitar Company. This is that. To elevate this Tier 1 Brazilian rosewood guitar even further, the late, great Tony Rice, we have his signature on the inside sound hole label of this guitar, which, yes, he passed away, going on 5 years ago now, and amazing to think that they still have any of these labels laying around at all. And the labels that they do have are a very, very, very tiny little stack. Don't even think you could call it a stack. So just these hand-signed labels by Tony are a highly limited thing, and beyond that, they're only applying those hand-signed labels to, again, the highest echelon of the Tony Rice professional model that they make. And again, this is it. So they will only be releasing 1 to 2 of these guitars annually. It's going to be an unbelievably limited basis, but when, again, Brenda reached out to me and told me what she was dealing with there at their shop and what she had and how special it was, we eagerly jumped on the opportunity to get this guitar under our roof here. If only for a little while, we are glad to have it here. Beyond any association with Tony Rice, beyond the guitar being, hand-signed on the sound hole label by him and all of that amazing, great stuff that comes along with it, we're just assessing the guitar itself. Again, this qualifies as the highest end of what Santa Cruz offers in every regard. volume there. That guitar is a presence. Folks, like I said, this is not an opportunity that I would have guessed that we would have had just a few weeks ago. But when Brenda calls and has something special, you know it's something special. And like I said, if we only have this for a little while at the shop, I'm glad that we had it at all. What a truly a piece of history. I wish I could do more justice on it in the bluegrass styling to really do that, but let's not kid ourselves. Hondro.
That is just the definition of what a dreadnought should sound like.
I tell you, the bass is just like, hang on, give me a minute.
Unfortunately, we have to use a sort of like a limiter compressor in the live stream to sort of protect everyone's ears from the clipping. That happens when we go from fingerstyle to strumming.
Sure.
It's hard to bridge the difference, but you have to trust us when I say that it sounds phenomenal.
Just the walls in here are begging for mercy. They're like, stop, dude, we're rattling. Yeah, just that mid-range growl. Man, it's like an old guitar.
Yeah.
That is something. Of course, when you're dealing with super old wood, it's just a matter of time before the rest of the guitar kind of catches up and starts acting that way.
Yeah, I think that Brazilian backset was harvested nearly 100 years ago, you said, right?
Yes, sir. At least.
Right, so it's just been aging, doing its own thing in a controlled environment under the careful eye of, Richard Hoover.
Different stewards along the way, for sure. Different stewards along the way.
Yeah, Richard Hoover wouldn't
have
had it since the 1930s.
But you better believe, I mean, he's had this at least since the 1980s, I would guess.
Makes sense, yeah.
Since I was a thought in someone's, nobody was thinking of me back then. Are you kidding me? But no, I mean, again, truly a piece of music history, bluegrass history, guitar history. I don't care what you want to call it, but it is.
Awesome.
Really something. Hondro, I need to know, if Ed let you steal one guitar today without firing you, which one would you steal?
He lets me do one a week, not one a day. So if I had to... Oh, man, that's tough.
I know.
I'm going to have to go with the Tony Rice.
The big dog?
The big dog. I think there's a reason you picked it last. Rightfully so. I'm going to go home with that one. What about you? It
wasn't an accident that I picked this one last.
You're stacking the deck, man.
Well, I know. Let's say it's my game. I got to say, the last three here are actively killing me. Actively. Cutting down on my life expectancy as we speak, I will tell you. The first three, I would defy these guitars killing me so I could live long enough to enjoy these. How do you like that answer?
Yeah, I mean, man, I'd take any one of these off the wall. That's for sure.
One of them you can't have.
True.
This one you probably can't have. And it's not just because of the price. But folks, we would love to know if anything off the wall spoke to you today. Leave it in the comments there, and Hondro will very graciously share those with us if I could find my polishing cloth.
So Zach saying that the favorite guitar of the day, the first guitar, the Ziricote.
Awesome.
Good choice.
Awesome. I love it.
Marco picking the Huss and Dalton.
Killer.
Tomas picking the Santa Cruz all day, every day.
Yeah, and I'm not even a dread guy.
True, yeah. We got John. I go for the full Tony.
There you go. Full T, baby.
And Dave also on the Santa Cruz. Good choice.
Yep.
Yeah. Hard to pick a wrong answer here, right?
Weekly. Every showcase we do, it's hard to pick a wrong answer. But of course, stylistically, guitars do different things. They pull different things out of different players, as we've found many times. But boy, what a fun one, folks! As always, we can't thank you enough for joining us on your Friday afternoon. As always, if you're joining us after the fact, thank you as well. And don't forget to tune into our videos. If you'd like to subscribe to our channel here, please do so. Always, always do not forget to check out our website as well. All of these guitars, while they're still available, live on our website. Full details, specifications, photographs. If you need any additional information or just somebody who maybe has handled one of these, call us anytime. That's quite literally why we are here. So do reach out, do subscribe, call us up, buy a guitar. Anything else from you there?
No.
You doing anything this weekend?
I've got a gig tomorrow at the Pig and Whiskey Festival in Four Hands Brewery.
That sounds like fun.
That'll be fun.
Very nice. Which band?
Synthetic Sun.
Synthetic Sun. Very nice. As opposed to Genuine Moon.
Yeah, that project didn't work out.
Got it. Figured you'd make just go polar opposite. It's got to work, right? Anyway, folks, thank you so much for joining us. Have an awesome weekend. We can't wait to see you on our next live stream. Tune in then. We'll see you then.